Welcome back to the news today. This is One on One. Kamal Khatib, the deputy of the northern branch of the Islamic Movement in Israel, is known for his very strong rhetoric against the policies of Israeli government. Last week, I-24 News Arabic diplomatic correspondent Faleh Habib sat down with him. Let's see what he had to say.
Sheikh Kamal Khatib, good evening. Mr. Khatib, the northern sector of the Islamic Movement does not take part in the elections for Israeli parliament. What are the motives behind this ban?
Our main priority is the well-being of our people and the protection of their rights and interests. We found that the Israeli parliament does not protect these rights. The Israeli parliament is a venue for arguments and screaming. In the 60-plus years since Israel's establishment, the Arab members of the Israeli parliament have not served their people inside Israel. Not because they don't want to serve the people, but because the very framework of the Israeli parliament is designed to serve the Israeli Jew, not the Arab citizens living in Israel. Therefore, the Israeli parliament is little more than a tomb for the Arab parties. There have been many such parties throughout the years, some of which have had widespread public support, but they have failed to deliver on their promises to their people. And this is due to the oppressive trends in the Israeli parliament against the Arab parties' causes. The Islamic movement interpreted these signs long ago. And we have therefore concluded that in order to serve our people, we do not need the Israeli parliament.
Wouldn't you say this is a double standard?
Not at all. I live in this country, this is my right. I'm a product of my homeland, and I'm the proprietor of this land. This is my land. The fact that Israel was established here doesn't mean it can enforce its will on me. I will decide my own agenda and how to operate it. My being here is not a favor the country has bestowed upon me. We have our own modes of operation. But the state says our ban on the elections means that our citizenship is lacking or is limited. But I will decide how to execute my rights as a citizen. I don't need the state or the Israeli parliament for that.
But there are those who say that the Islamic movement is an integral part of the Arab population in Israel, and that it must be part of the parliament in order to make a difference. How do you respond to that?
The Islamic movement represents the Arab population in Israel in every institution. The fact is, the Islamic movement is the most active movement in favor of the Arab population, even though we don't have parliamentary representation. We've established that we don't need it. We express our agenda and our main beliefs to our people, and Parliament is not a stage we need for that. Israel has a significant interest in involving Arabs in parliament. Shimon Peres, the former president, has made a point of indicating time and time again that Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East, using the Arab members of parliament as his prime example. In my view, Parliament is a tool for reinforcing this facade of Israeli democracy. The state wants to have Arab members of Parliament, but in fact, these members are cooperative with the state's agenda and limited in their parliamentary prospects. The bottom line is that the Arab MPs are being used. The clearest example is the visit these Arab MPs made to Auschwitz, as though the Palestinian people were to blame for the horrors of the German crimes against the Jewish people. We are not to blame for the Second World War. We are not to blame for the murder of 6 million Jews. It's the Jewish people who uprooted and killed us. Therefore, Israel has expressed the will of seeing an Arab presence in Auschwitz.
بوجود أعضاء كنيسة عرب يذهبون إلى الحج هناك في أوشفيتس.
الحركة الإسلامية الشمالية باتت لكثيرين.
The Islamic movement is also cause for fear in Israel.
واليوم على سبيل المثال بعد تنفيذ
Israeli Foreign Minister Avigdor Lieberman has blamed Raed Salah, the head of the Islamic movement, for the terror attack in Tel Aviv last week.
بعض القادة وعلى رأس.
How do you respond to these accusations?
حركتكم الشيخ رائد صلاح. كيف تقرؤون هذه الاتهامات؟
لا ننسى أن الآن هناك انتخابات في البرلمان الإسرائيلي في 17.
We mustn't forget the Israeli parliament is headed to elections on March the 17th.
يكون أكثر تطرفاً ضد الفلسطينيين.
Predictably, there's a competition between the Israeli parties as to which will be the most extreme against the Palestinian people. Therefore, shots are being fired in two directions. The first is the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and the second is the Islamic Movement. The Islamic movement promotes the Muslim cause and faith, and its voice is heard by a wide spectrum of the Arab population. This has made it a target for some Israeli parties, and this will not deter us. Lieberman too knows how prevalent and popular the Islamic movement is in Jerusalem and in the north, especially after the Israeli attack on Syria this month. The fact that we reach such varied parts of the Arab population, it's obvious that this is worrisome and frightening for Lieberman and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And that's why they've made us a target.
How do you respond to the attack in Tel Aviv?
The first party to blame for what happens in Israel and in the Middle East at large is the occupation. The occupation is the reason for all our miseries. The occupation must end. There is no reason in the world that the only occupied people in the world today is the Palestinian people. Is Israel under the impression that it can occupy our people, violate our holy sites, limit our liberties, and still call the Palestinian peoples animals if they react in whichever way they see fit? No. The occupier is the animal. The animal is the state that spilled the blood of 2,500 people during just 50 days in Gaza. The animal is the state that disrespected our holy sites, robbed our lands, and took our homes.
We know that there are efforts to outlaw the Islamic movement. Will the northern sect of the movement therefore join the parliament simply as a strategic move?
Threats to make the Islamic movement illegal do not frighten us. We have a message and a system of beliefs. There's a widespread operation these days against the Muslim cause, put forward by Israel with the backing of the revolt in Egypt and other Arab entities, which Netanyahu has hinted at in one of his recent media speeches. He said there's cooperation with Arab countries against what he terms terrorism. But what he means, in fact, is the Muslim cause. Therefore, we have to pay a price for this cause we care about the most, serving the people, visiting the holy Al-Aqsa Mosque, establishing institutions, the preservation of our national identity. But any price is worth paying for the promotion of these causes. The attempt to make our movement illegal is a form of violence against our agenda. The law may cast us outside its borders, but we will not be moved from our positions and our identity. We will not be moved from our national history as the Palestinian people.
Thank you, Sheikh Kamal Khatib, head of the northern sect of the Islamic movement, for this.
Yes, that will be it for tonight. Tomorrow we will be here at the same time, same place with the news today from the Jaffa Port, Israel. Have a great night.